Now let's talk about cloud simulation in game engine. Our platform this time is gonna be Unreal Engine again, and for Unity, I'm sure there is a way, and with Apex or there are other plugins. So anyway, I have this model now, and it's all rigged with advanced skeleton. I'm using its Unreal Engine join chain feature so that I can just replace it with the animation instead of the defaults. So let me go ahead and go create a new project in Unreal Engine with third person. Let's test, okay, and so that we can have that on. And back to Maya, we're gonna export this guy out. So what we're gonna do here is grab the root joint and the geometry, those two primary things. This group is actually the motion system, so that's not what we want. If you're using a rig you never really touched, you don't know which one is the binding joint. You go to the skin cluster. After selecting the body, go to skin cluster, and then you go edit, select nodes, and then you go to the node editor and you show the input. Any joint that is connected to this skin cluster will be the binding joint, so you can grab this joint and see where it belongs to, and you can see it belongs to this joint chain. So that's why this is the binding joint chain. Now notice that some of the rigs doesn't really compatible with game engine, because game engine kind of requires a simple joint chain like this from root to all other parts. Okay, so this is typically a Unreal Engine joint chain. You have the hand for the gun. Over here you have also the other hand. Okay, anyway, so you grab the binding joint chain, you grab the geometry joint chain, sorry, the geometry, right? And you go for File, Export Selection, and then just export it as FBX. Okay, so I've done that before here. Right, I have this one actually. Let me save it as this one and show you why you kind of needed to clean it up a little bit. In the options here, we don't need animation, so check the animation off. In the geometry settings, you want to turn on smooth groove, tangents, and binomals, and then referenced asset content if you have referenced asset, and that should be it. So let me export that and hit yes. Okay. Now the reason we wanted to clean it up a little bit more is because we see those arrows. Now when you see those arrows, you probably, or warnings, you probably wanted to go ahead and take a look at what that is. So I'm gonna go for File, Open, and then open all files underneath the files of type so that you can open FBX. Let me double click to open that. Now you can see this is probably okay. I don't see any like problem, but I do see this circle here on the ground. I'm like, okay, this is not even needed by the game engine. I don't think the game engine even knows what this is. So let's take a look at what's happening here. We are having this group that is having just the circle here. Now I don't really need that, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. So I do recommend you to export your FBX with just the root joints, the binding joints, and the geometry. But if you got warnings and all those redundant things being exported, you reopen it again in Maya and just clean that up one more time in this exported FBX file. And then when you're done, you go File, Export Selection one more time, and then you export it here. Okay, so I have done this already, so we don't need to do that again. Now that's all you have to do in Maya. And just notice that the cape here is supposed to be simulated, the hairs are supposed to be simulated, their geometry has to be simple, and also evenly distributed, so that the simulation will be more stable. Anyway, so back to our Unreal Engine. Let me put it here. So what you want to do is go import your model. So I'm gonna go import, and then I'm gonna go for the model I exported, this one, and open it. This is gonna import all those things, but here, because the skeleton that we're using in our model is actually the same as Unreal Engine's default character, so that they can use the same joint chain. That's why under this skeleton I'm going to choose this guy. But if yours is not, then this is not going to do anything for you. We don't need animation, so check the animation off if they're on, and import out. This is going to import our asset into the Unreal Engine level, including the not level but in the editor, content browser, so that we can start using them, including the material texture. The material and texture may not be connected the proper way, but that's not the focus of this class, so I'm not gonna tweak that too much. Alright, the import is done. Got some arrows, don't really care, so let's close that. Let's take a look at our model here. Double click on it. You can see that's our model, and we can go ahead and preview with some animation. You can see all the animations is actually compatible with our new joint chain. So I'm gonna go with our new model with the same joint chain. As you can see, the running and jump, all those kind of things. I do have some weighting over there, but yeah. Anyway, that was a quick rig. Let's swap out the character here. So I'm gonna click on this guy and go change the skeletal mesh to my skeletal mesh, and then save. Okay, if we go play, we're playing our character now. Okay, anyway, now one of the things I don't quite like is the motion blur is really blurring my stuff, especially my hair. I don't think they're doing a very good job when it comes to motion blur with transparent stuff. So I'm gonna turn that off. It's gonna be on the camera, so let me go actually double click on the camera, and then I'm gonna go change the settings here. Let me search for motion blur. Check on the override, and then I'm gonna override the motion blur to 0, so that way we don't have any motion blur. Cool. Now again, back to the model here, the player character here. I'm gonna also say edit blueprint and apply the instance change to blueprint. So this is gonna apply that back to the actual blueprint asset it's using this. Okay, I'm gonna hit save out to save out my asset. Alright, so that is done. Just a few more changes. So when we go to the front view, you can see you don't really see the cape because it's a single layered or single sided material. So we're going to change that by tweaking the material. Let me go find the material for the cape material here, and then I'm going to go here and search for two-sided, and check that on and save it. This is going to apply that change to the cape material. I'm going to do the same thing for my hair. As you can see the backside now, and go for the hair material. Also search two-sided and then save. Alright, so this is going to be the import part of our model. Now they're safely imported into game engine, and in the next one we're going to go ahead and set up the cloth part. So